All right, we are live. Good to have you guys with us. Lots to go over today. Crypto market, Bitcoin's above 100,000. XRP, everything else is pumping. Feels good. I love to see the green in the market. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get into Bitcoin. We're going to get into XRP. We're going to get to BlackRock. We're going to get into what's going on around the economy. There's some good news. There's some news that we need to go over. And I'm going to be answering a lot of your questions today. So it's good to have you guys here. Christo, what's up, Christo? Nice to see you. Sean's here. Sean Lapp, what's up, Sean? I saw. Well, here, Terry was here first. Terry, thank you so much for being here from Dayton, Ohio. Appreciate you. Ariana's here to keep the chat safe. AK Scarface, you were kind of number one. I think Terry beat you by a few seconds, but it's great to have you here, man. And Mark Lane saying, "Are we bot free today?" Man, I hope so, Mark. I really do. What's up, Manny? Good to see you, Corey. How's it going from Boston? Checking in. JG Galtro. I can't say your name correctly, but good to see you. Thank you for being here. No ways. Hi, great to see you, Benjamin. What's up, Benjamin? Oh, thank you for the kind words about the channel. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're learning. Sabrina's in the house. So good to see you, Sabrina. How are you? Great to see you. Thank you for being here. Oh, aloha from the Valley Island. Oh, great to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. Aloha, my friend. Oh, we got so many incredible people. We already have 300 people hanging out. So great to have you guys here. Let's go ahead and pull up what's going on in the crypto market. We're going to get into all of this. Let's go ahead and check in with CoinMarketCap first, and we'll get an understanding of what's going on around the crypto market currently. It's great to see you here. Crypto Revenge is here. Crypto Revenge is a member of the channel. Thank you so much, Crypto Revenge. Zlad's here from Germany. Oh, we got people from all over the world here. I love it. It's incredible. Just give us the good news. Oh, Blackhawk. I'm going to give you both. There's some really incredible good news. And of course, there's some, some other news. All right. Michael, thank you so much for being a member of the channel. Thank you for your support and great to see you, man. Vinny's here. Great to see you, Vinny. We got Tony here from New Zealand. Oh, man. We have somebody here from Iran. Afshin. Thank you so much for being here, Afshin. I hope you're doing well. All right. We got some people here from Texas. What's up? What's up? We got people from Hawaii. We got people from Tibet, Australia. Oh, you guys are incredible. All right. I can sit here all day and tell you guys how amazing you are, but let's go ahead and get into some crypto news because that's what you're here for. Great to have everybody from the Cryptonaires community in here as well. That is my community, and I'm just so thankful to be learning alongside of those people every day. All right, so we got 102,000 here for Bitcoin. Check this out. $2 trillion market cap for Bitcoin. Wow. You see Michael Saylor and other people in the Bitcoin space saying that Bitcoin's going to 100 trillion, 200 trillion market cap. If Bitcoin's going to 100 trillion or 200 trillion, where do you think things like XRP are going? Solana, Cardano, right? Sui, Chainlink. Where do you think these assets are going if Bitcoin's going to see that type of value? All right, let's I think this is real. It's so hard with AI these days, guys. It's so hard to verify clips. I believe this is a real clip. This digital asset is back. I don't know if this is like a new digital asset summit or from the old one. Digital Asset Summit 2025 looks like New York, Blockworks. Let me play this a little bit.
A very big hello to everyone at the Blockworks Digital Assets Summit. It's an honor to speak with you about how the United States is going to dominate crypto and the next generation of financial technologies. And it's not going to be easy, but we're way ahead. Just 2 weeks ago, we hosted the first ever White House Digital Asset Summit, bringing together many of the world's top leaders in crypto for a conversation led by our White House AI and crypto czar, David Sachs, who's a fantastic and very brilliant guy. That same week, I signed an order creating the brand new strategic Bitcoin reserve and a U.S. digital asset stockpile, which will allow the federal government to maximize the value of its holdings instead of foolishly selling them for a fraction of their long-term value, which is exactly what Biden did. He got a fraction of their value. We're ending the last administration's regulatory war on crypto and Bitcoin, and that includes stopping the lawless Operation Choke Point 2.0. Operation Choke Point went beyond regulation, and I mean far beyond. It was a form of lawfare through government weaponization. Frankly, it was a disgrace. But as of January 20th, 2025, all of that is over. I've also called on Congress to pass landmark legislation creating simple, common sense rules for stable coins and market structure. With the right legal framework, institutions large and small will be liberated to invest, innovate, and take part in one of the most exciting technological revolutions in modern history. It's so big, it's, I think, as big as you can get. Pioneers like you will be able to improve our banking and payment system and promote greater privacy, safety, security, and wealth for American consumers and businesses alike.
Hell yeah.
You will unleash an explosion of economic growth, and with the dollar-backed stablecoins, you'll help expand the dominance of the U.S. dollar, and many, many years to come, it'll be at the top, and that's where we want to keep it. We only want to keep it at the top always. I can already see that the energy and passion of the crypto community is the kind of spirit that built our country, and it is exciting to watch as you invent the future of finance. And right here, it's going to be right here in the USA, the good old USA. Together, we will make America the undisputed Bitcoin superpower and the crypto capital of the world. Thank you. Good luck. God bless America.
I thought that was a great like speech that he was giving, or a clip that he was giving. You know, it's an incredible feeling to go from being in an industry that's been like shunned and hated and debanked to go to an industry that is accepted now in the United States and accepted globally. It just feels really good. A lot of really amazing things that Trump said there about the crypto market. You know, I'm really excited where this is all going to take us, and I'm so glad you guys are all here. We already have 808 of you. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too, Midwestern. Yeah, two Republicans and all Democrats basically voted no to move the Genius Act forward, and we're going to discuss that, you know, in this chat too. So, yeah, we're having some, you know, issues in our country with figuring out what, well, you know, like the frustrating part is we know how, like, if you've done any research in the crypto space, you know how important this industry is going to be to the financial system, right? You know that this industry is going to revolutionize how financial services works today. And instead of fighting it at every turn, I don't understand why Democrats are not engaging, you know, with the opportunity here. And, you know, maybe it's a negotiating tactic. I've seen, you know, every excuse imaginable. It's a negotiation tactic. It's, you know, Dems hating crypto. Whatever it is, it needs to stop. All right. You need to understand that this is an important technology for the American people and the world, and we need to move forward with it. And, you know, sometimes in life, we have to take a step back before we can take, you know, 2 steps forward. And we're going to do that. AK Scarface for Luna from Uncle Scarface. I love you. Thank you so much. Luna is actually laying right next to me down here. I don't know if I can take my computer. Yeah, you probably can't see her. She's on the floor. Oh, she's right next to that tissue box. Can't see her, but she's sitting right next to me. She really thanks you. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, guys, any donations that you guys give goes directly to Luna, who's my dog. She is my world. And so any kind of donations that come to the channel, we go and buy her some really nice, healthy dog treats. So I appreciate the support. Thank you so much, Uncle Scarface. You're always welcome to be here, man. And really glad to have you. All right, so let's fast forward here. We got JD Vance, who's the vice president, is going to speak at the 2025 Bitcoin conference. Love to see that. Also, Bitcoin became the 5th most valuable asset, beating Amazon, Google, and some other players like Meta, Facebook, Berkshire Hathaway, and Tesla. As you can see here, wow. I mean, it's only a matter of time before Bitcoin takes the top spot here. I do think you're going to see a market cap for Bitcoin higher than gold. I think it's really just a matter of time here. You're also seeing, you know, the M2 money supply. More money is being pumped into the system. Hopefully, over the next 6 months, we will see interest rates that go down some. The Fed just met on Wednesday. They decided not to lower interest rates in the United States because of the stuff with tariffs. That is another difficult subject that we're going to have to get into towards the end of this chat. I will try to keep my my personal thoughts to myself as I go through this information. It is quite hard to talk about. So I thought this was good to have. Alt season 2025 starts now. You see, since 2017, altcoins go parabolic about 501 days after the Bitcoin halving. Every time this happens, Bitcoin and alts skyrocket. Here is that 501 days. We are getting mighty, mighty close. It looks like we're already over halfway there. Man, once we get to this spot, it is going to be on. All right, you do have Facebook to enable crypto payments for 3 billion users. So question, I don't think Facebook has 3 billion users. I mean, I still have a Facebook account that I haven't used in, I don't know, 8 years, 7, 8 years. I don't know. So saying that you have 3 billion users, I'd love to see how many active users Facebook currently has. Let me go ahead and play this for you guys.
Meta is now in talks with a number of crypto companies as it considers introducing stable coins as a way to manage payouts. This is coming from a new report in Fortune magazine. It comes years after Meta's earlier attempt to remember how a cryptocurrency blew up. Fortune saying that Meta's recent outreach to crypto companies focuses on the ability of stable coins to pay individuals in different regions without the high fees that would be traditionally associated with other forms of payment. It also says that Meta has now hired a new vice president of product with crypto experience to help move those discussions along. So you remember that whole adventure that they went on, that ultimately Libra, that didn't make it, but this may be the next incarnation.
You remember I got a lot of play when I said this is like the dumbest thing ever. It was centralized. It was compared to Bitcoin. There was nothing Libra had to offer. I said it the day it was announced, and nothing did coming up.
All right, Mr. Mumbles. I mean, you got to speak a little bit more clearly there. This is something that I did want to talk to you about. I made a video earlier that's going to come out directly after you watch this video. So I don't want to spoil this too much for you, but I did want to talk about this because we are seeing some, hold on, I'm just going through all of my different windows that I have open. This is the information that I wanted to pull in right here. Okay, cool. I got this. Let's pull it in. Let's bring it over so we can talk about this. All right. So we're talking about BlackRock here. All right. First of all, we have 1,000 people here in the chat, 1,080. I bet we can get to 1,500. What I want you guys to do, if you're learning something, if you're growing, if you're having fun, you're chatting with people in the audience, please like and share the space. If you're on Twitter, it's super easy. Share the space out. Say, come join us. If you're on YouTube, you can like and share if you want to. So I really appreciate you guys. Let's go ahead and get into this. All right. So I think it's inevitable that BlackRock is going to get involved with XRP. And I'll tell you why I feel this way. Okay. BlackRock does what's best for BlackRock customers. If you're listening to me and you have an account at BlackRock, right? You don't have to say in the chat that you have an account, but if you have an account, you have a voice right now. And when you're listening to me, I want you to do something. I want you to go on BlackRock's site or however you search or whatever you do in that ecosystem and start looking for an XRP ETF. The reason BlackRock got so involved with Bitcoin is because there was a huge demand, hundreds of thousands of searches for Bitcoin on their their website or inside of their systems. So if we can get some of that momentum in XRP's direction, it is only a matter of time before the biggest assets under management company gets into XRP, right? We've seen BlackRock, Ondo, right? We've seen connection with Ripple and XRP, tokenizing treasuries. We understand BlackRock already knows the importance of XRP, right? They're not stupid. They have a lot of really smart people working for them. That's why they are the biggest assets under management company in the world. They understand how important this technology is. They're going to get involved. So let's take a look at what BlackRock's doing here. So they sent a letter to the SEC Crypto Task Force from BlackRock requesting meeting with the SEC Crypto Task Force. Now, you remember this was put together. There's all kinds of different people that are involved with this Crypto Task Force, and including Ripple, right? It says overview of BlackRock digital assets product suite. They're going to talk about staking, tokenization, crypto ETPs approval standards, and options on crypto ETPs. If you don't know what an ETP is, electronically traded product, it's very similar to like an ETF. Okay, very similar. And then here you go. BlackRock, the 10 trillion titan, is confirmed to attend the SEC Crypto Task Force Roundtable. This isn't just another meeting; it's a signal. And ripples could reach XRP. So BlackRock doesn't play small. Obviously, if BlackRock decides to get into the XRP game, it's going to be incredibly important for the people like you and I to already hold this asset. We want to beat institutions to where they are going. We know institutions are heading for Solana. We know institutions are heading for XRP, Litecoin, Chainlink, HBAR. I'd imagine that you're going to see baskets of ETFs and crypto assets. So this really is just the start. Quietly pushing regulatory doors open for Ethereum. Bitcoin was the first to lead and file Bitcoin ETF revolution, now attending the SEC's most strategic discussion and forum. You also have, is XRP next in line? XRP is one of the few tokens that has legal clarity. This says partial legal clarity, but it's not partial when a judge says you have legal clarity. Judges are the final when it comes to the judicial system in the United States. And when they make a decision, especially if it's a federal decision, that is the law of the land, especially when you have to go through these different courts. Ripple just reached $50 million settlement with the SEC. We know Ripple was willing to pay the $125 million that they asked. Ripple did take back the 75 extra million, so they can use that towards whatever else they want to do and expand. But you do have ETP interest heating up. Franklin Templeton, ProShares. If you don't think BlackRock is paying attention to the crypto game right now, you are sorely mistaken. So I'm the rest of this stuff I go through within the video, guys. I don't want to have you watch this here and then watch this again in my video. But I do really believe you're going to start seeing BlackRock coming into this ecosystem sooner rather than later. You also have a lot of things happening in the Cardano ecosystem. I've been talking about this after Sensei Chat, after Sensei Chat, after Sensei Chat. I'm telling you, go get some Cardano. Don't sleep on Cardano in this cycle. This is an easy 10x, easy 10x from where we are right now. A lot of people believe Cardano could hit $15 or $20, which would get you an even higher return if those people are correct. You do see stablecoin adoption is here in 2025. ADA's Midnight L2 and HBAR's Hashgraph's Hashsphere network will both facilitate private institutional transactions with stablecoin features. Remember, institutions, especially banks and payment institutions, they do not want their transactions to be made public. We understand that this new system, stablecoins, are going to play a key and vital role in the settlement of these assets. And when the stablecoin particularly is on the XRP ledger, or if it's on the HBAR ecosystem, whatever value comes into that stablecoin will live on that ecosystem. Like this person, it believes ADA is about to hit $25 with this next big pump. I mean, it's really fun to get in here and just draw these big lines. But here, if you can see the Fibonacci levels here, the 8236 is up to here to $25. I think people are sleeping on Cardano. I've been I did buy some extra Cardano over the past week, something to pay attention to. AVAX is going is heading for a breakout. We talk about AVAX a lot in these chats. I believe AVAX could go to $150, $200 in this cycle pretty simply. If you didn't get to buy AVAX at $10, last year, think about getting some AVAX today, guys. It's getting set up right now. AVAX USDT trade is there. And I mean, this is pretty simple, right? Oh, I'm going to include this when I do my final report tonight for Cryptonaires members. I'm going to include some of this information in there. I think it's pretty valuable. I did want to show you this, guys, the top 3 fastest growing protocols based on a 7-day percentage in a weekly active addresses. AVAX has a 247% growth in active addresses, followed by Sonium, and then Sonic Labs, which is old Phantom, right? New Phantom is Sonic Labs. So as you can see, people are starting to come back. You can see addresses already starting to blow up here. Usually when you start to see addresses blowing up here, guys, value is going to be moving into the ecosystems. If you're not interested in AVAX, you want to take a little bit more risk, go look at, any of the DeFi protocols, with high APYs. You can go look at gaming in the AVAX ecosystem. There's some other projects as well that have some benefits. And I mean, this is just going to be, a lot of fun once this all gets set up and started. I did think this was a great thing to add and show you here. Major banks collaborating with Ripple. It doesn't matter what part of the world that you live in. Chances are your central bank or banks in your country have engaged with Ripple directly, either through direct partnerships or in-betweens. You have, United States, Canada, Brazil, United Kingdom. Here listing some banks here. Yeah, Bank of America in the United States reportedly testing Ripple's technology to improve the payment system. Remember, Ripple has Bank of America has patents with XRP in the patents, right? We know that Bank of America's infrastructure does involve something to do with XRP. We also have PNC Bank here, utilizes RippleNet for streamlining international transactions, and of course, American Express. If you have an American Express account and you've ever made a payment and you're like, oh, damn, that went really quickly. How did that happen? Well, it runs on Ripple. Here, employs RippleNet for efficient international payments. Gotta love that. You also have Canada. Our friendly neighbors up in Canada. We love you down here in the US. We support you guys. We hope we can get all through this together. I know it's some crazy times right now, but just know that we hope everything works out here. All right, so Canada Imperial Bank, CIBC, adopts RippleNet to facilitate faster cross-border payments. You also have Zip Remit, uses Ripple's technology for international money transfers. Down in Brazil, I just want to say, what's up? No, you have Into Uno Banco, integrates Ripple to enhance international money transfers. You have Banco Rendimentos, employs Ripple's technology for faster remittances services. Down in the United Kingdom, what's up, United Kingdom? We have Santander UK offers Ripple-powered international payment services, OnePay FX market. Ripple covers 90% of the FX market globally. You know that the FX market does about $7.5 trillion a day in trades, usually about 7.5 million transactions a day in that system, about $1 million on average per transactions. If you used XRP over the SWIFT system, you could save billions of dollars per day on that system. You also have TransferGo in the United Kingdom. In Japan, we have SBI Remit, MUFG Bank. We also have, there's about 200 different banking organizations in Japan, from large to small. You do have a large part of those Japanese banks that are Ripple enabled, that can use XRP if they so choose to. There is a lot of belief on Twitter and other areas that Japan is going to start using XRP heavily for payments here in 2025. We still have yet to see that fully break out, but it is something that we are on the edge of our seats waiting to see what happens. You also have in India here, Kotak Mahindra, excuse me, I'm really bad with this. Bank integrates Ripple to reduce international transaction costs. You also have Industrial Bank, uses Ripple technology to improve international payment services. There is a war going with India and Pakistan right now. I hope cooler heads prevail there. I know that somebody that is Tycho, who is essentially my business manager, he is actually in India right now. I know he's going and trying to leave the country because of all this uncertainty. I just hope that him and everybody else in these two regions is safe and sound. And I hope it's not a full-scale war. But you guys see what's going on with India and Pakistan? Kind of crazy stuff, man. The world is, a tinderbox, I feel like, at this moment. Australia, you have Westpac exploring Ripple technology to enhance payment solutions. You have Air Wallets leverages RippleNet for efficient cross-border transactions. You got Sweden. The SEB collaborates with Ripple to improve payment infrastructure. The UAE, Rock Bank. You also have other banks in the UAE, and Ripple has a bunch of licenses in the UAE and all over Europe as well. You also have Thailand here, Siam Commercial Bank, and Krunski Bank. Let me do this. Let me pop out of here. We got 1,428 people hanging out here. Let me answer some questions that you guys have. If you guys have any new questions, hit me with them right now. I'm not gonna. I don't want to scroll up too far. Oh, we do have $2 here. The Nerd Den. I just got here. What's the BlackRock news? Oh, so the Nerd. We did talk about BlackRock. BlackRock basically is going to be a part of the SEC Crypto Task Force. BlackRock is, when they go into this, they're going to be alongside of here. Let me see who's on the SEC Crypto Task Force. Let me bring this up real quick. Let me get this. There was a bunch of companies that were a part of this, right? Hold on. All right, hold on. I'm going to do this on Twitter. 1 second. SEC Crypto Task Force. Everyone has the BlackRock news. Hold on. I'm searching for it now. I know there's a lot of companies that are involved with this. Everyone's just pulling the same information. Oh my God. It's kind of flooded right now. I think it was like I want to say, is it Coinbase and Ripple and who else? You know what? Let me see if I can use Perplexity. 1 second. Let me just try to pull this up. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I'm going to try to answer your question here in just a second. Who is on the SEC crypto task force? CRYP2 task force. All right, let's see if we got it. It's not listing the companies that are on the crypto task force. Oh, no. Here. This is what it's showing. Shoot. Let me pull this up. Add stage. All right, so this is kind of the names of the people that are involved, but this doesn't give me the companies, which is unfortunate. What companies are involved? All right, hold on. I'm trying to pull it up. But it just slipped my mind. I do apologize. But this is saying, let me just, why I do this. Crypto Task Force is Hester Pierce. You have Richard Gobbert, Chief of Staff, Taylor Ashley, Mark Yoda, crypto friendly, right? It's really interesting to see these people engage. We know that Paul Atkins is also a part of this, and now he is the SEC chair. You also, here, take a look. I don't know why it doesn't have Ripple on here, because I know Ripple's a part of this. But here you have Coinbase, Uniswap, Cumberland, DRW, Kraken, Falcon, Texture Capital, New York Stock Exchange, Fidelity, NASDAQ, Invesco, Franklin Templeton, BlackRock, Apollo, DTCC, and a bunch of other things. But I did see, I don't know why it doesn't have, what's it called? But anyways, but yes, we did talk about this. You want to back up to about this part right here where we talk about this and I get into all of this. That's the BlackRock news. I'm not going to go through it a second time, but I appreciate you for the $2. Luna, thanks you. Let me take a look at some of your questions, guys, here. Hello from Wyoming. What's up, Don? Great to have you here, man. Y'all want to pump a meme coin? No, man. I'm not. All finger motion getting ready. Pull GME squeeze. 3 brokers already removed buy button due to the loaded with fraud shares. Really? Are you talking about GME or are you talking about CME? I can't wait for XRP to at least hit double digits. I feel we are close too. I mean, when we're talking about adoption of these assets, I think we're still kind of far away from getting, full blown mass adoption. But I think companies are starting to prepare for crypto strategic reserves. And I have information showing that here in just a second after I get to some of your questions here. What time is the trade talks with China and Switzerland? This gives us a dip before to buy. I don't know. It's coming up. I have a ton of economy news here that I'm going to go over towards the end of this. But yeah, haven't heard anyone say this. Hidden Road had Swift codes, so Ripple now has direct access to it. That's incredible. But having Swift codes, that allows you. Okay, excuse me. Ripple already has Swift codes through Trangelo. Like if you look up Trangelo, here, let me show you this real quick. Trangelo. Hold on. So Trangelo. Hold on. Trangelo, Ripple. There we go. ODL. I think it's Trangelo. I'm pretty sure it's Trangelo. Let me see. Solutions. We need to get to the docs. Resources, docs. All right. I'm sharing this. Cool. You guys are seeing what I'm looking at here. All right. Where are the docs? Trangelo Connect. API method. Ooh. Trangelo business. It's here somewhere. Hold on. Okay, maybe it is Trangelo Connect. Is it? Where's it? I'm looking for something that says country glossary overview. It's been a while since I've been in this. Hold on. Request code description, sender beneficiary. Like they already have all these codes. Is what I'm trying to get at here. Hold on. Am I not seeing something correctly? Overview, service specification, API method, request data response. Man, I don't know where it is, or maybe they moved it. But you used to be able to go in here and look up all of the countries, right? You used to be able to come in here and look at all of the countries. They might have moved it though. But anyways, all of the countries had banks in them, and all of the banks had Swift codes. Man, I don't know why. Hold on, I just got to find it. Sender beneficiary. Let me see here. Sender. Let me see. Yeah, I see like they have all of these banking codes, but these are codes for goods. But they have the same list for countries. Man, I just don't know where it is, guys. I do apologize. That's not it. Communication. I don't know why they don't have this on here anymore. No. All right. I can't find it. They must have moved it out of here, but it used to be here. I don't know. I'll try to find it and I'll post it. Let me see. Ripple acquired 40% stake in Triangle. Yep, leading cross-border special in Asia. But in the paperwork, they used to have like you could click on whatever country you wanted, and in the list it would pull up the country and all the banks in that country, and it would have the code for the banks. It would have the SWIFT code for the banks. It used to be in that. I don't know why they took it down, but maybe they didn't want to share it. Meredith Lindsay's here. What's up, Meredith Lindsay? Let's hear. Let's talk about liquidity crunch in Spain, resulting in rules requiring registering government bank extensions for larger withdrawals. I mean, I think banks globally are in trouble right now. Not just banks in the US, but obviously banks in Spain as well. So, is this kind of, a step in the financial system, the old financial system totally collapsing in on itself? I think that is why people are getting involved with crypto as a hedge against total collapse of the financial system. That's why people are buying Bitcoin. That's why people are buying XRP and other tokens. I think that's why. Hi to everyone around the world. We love you all. Michael, sharing some love. Love to have you, Michael. Thank you so much for doing that, man. All right, let me jump back in. We have 1,549 people here. I bet you we can get to 2,000. If you haven't shared the space yet, please share and like the space. Let's go ahead and get into some more news, guys, because I have a lot more to go over with you. I thought this was cool. Did you guys see this? Okay, so I got some interesting connections. Again, this is in the video I made earlier. So, man, I don't want to get into this too hard here. But you know what? Let me put it together here really quickly. As you watch this, I'll put it together. Let me just make sure it's on the right screen. It is. Let me play this.
Among the traditional European exchange groups, we have the largest crypto.
Hold on. Is that too fast? No, it's 1x. Okay. Let me do this. Let me do that.
Business and digital assets business. So what's happening in crypto? Crypto is going mainstream, right? More and more people have digital assets, have cryptocurrencies, right? That's a secular trend. Also, more and more traditional institutional investors embrace crypto. More and more traditional financial institutions, also across Europe, and we are their infrastructure partner. So is the US ahead in terms of regulation when it comes to compared to Europe? I wouldn't say so. And it's interesting. It's a great question. And it's interesting you're asking this question. In fact, Europe is ahead. We have a regulation. It's called MiCAR, right? It is now in effect, and it's not a bad regulation. And if you compare that with the regulatory fragmentation in the US, Europe even has a head start. Of course, now we need to make sure with all this dynamic and political support in the US that we do not fall behind again. Among the traditional European exchange groups.
You want to see some crazy shit? Watch this. Okay, so select and save. All right, here. So I wanted to verify this clip. Okay, so the first thing I needed to do was go in and find this guy. So this guy's name is Matthias Vocal. We can confirm that this guy is the same person that we just saw here talking. I mean, the picture looks a little different, but here, this is the guy, right? The same guy, right? Right here. This is the gentleman. Okay, so now that we verified he 100% is the CEO of Boris Stuttgart, I wanted to better understand, who is Bogus Stuttgart working with? Oh, also, wait, hold on, let me pull this up. I also have to show you this too. I had so much fun pulling this up earlier because like when you're in the vibe of researching and you start to make some cool connections that you haven't seen many people talk about, you start to get excited with stuff, right? And so here is the connection. All right, so we got this guy, the CEO, Matthias Vocal. I looked up what Boris Stuttgart is. It's the 6th largest exchange group in Europe. It has a strategic pillars in capital markets and businesses, as well as digital and cryptocurrency businesses. Boris Stuttgart employs 700 people in locations. It's the capital markets business. Boris Stuttgart Group operates 3 stock exchanges in Germany, Sweden, and Switzerland. Okay, so you start to wonder, like, hey, Who are these people working with? Oh shit, they're working with Deca Bank, right? Deca partners with Borg and Stuttgart to provide cryptocurrency services. This is February 28th of this year. This has just happened a few months ago. Then you start to dig in like, okay, Deca Bank lands crypto custody license. You start to be like, your brain starts to move, right? Because now you're in the crypto custody business. You start to wonder, does Deca Bank have connections to Ripple? Deca Bank. This is a list of current active Ripple custody clients. Deca Bank is right there. How you like that? How you like them apples? How you like them apples? The CEO of a stock exchange in Europe is telling us crypto is about to go mainstream. I just showed you connections to that company, to Deca Bank. Deca Bank uses Ripple custody. What else do you guys need to see today? What do you guys need to see today, huh? That was pretty good. I like that connection. Let's see here. Sure Gill says XRP is not going nowhere until regulations and ETF approvals. Please don't believe all the nonsense. Listen, you are more than happy to, have your opinion on things. My question to you is, so you don't think any retail buyers are interested in buying XRP before institutions? You don't think that like once dates are announced for an XRP ETF, you don't think that people are going to front run that news? I just don't agree with this statement. I mean, if we're talking about XRP going to $100 or $500, I agree with this statement. It's going to take a lot of time. But if we're talking $5 or $10, I don't think it's that unheard of, especially if we go on a nice little run here. So XRP is cheap at current prices. What are you guys exhausted about? What are you doing? Come on, y'all. Enjoying that live chat. Hit the like button. I thought you guys liked those connections. We'll have to see. We still have Crypto Noob talking about the liquidity crisis in Spain. We will try to pull up some information on that. I also wanted to show you this. I don't know if you guys have seen this part, but let me show you this. There's two different companies that are moving forward with using XRP for payments, FX costs, boost supply chain efficiency. You also have companies that are interested in using XRP not only as a currency that can be used to pay for their services, but also it's a power company that is interested in using XRP as a strategic reserve asset. And then Uphold said, you wanted utility, you got it, right? You're starting to finally see companies moving forward with their own digital asset strategies. I want you to understand there are hundreds of thousands of small businesses, right, around the United States. I think it's like 70 or 80% of like all people that are employed by small businesses. So when you're starting to see small businesses starting to have their own crypto strategy, you start to wonder what other businesses are going to start doing this. If small businesses can do this, corporations can, right? Medium-sized businesses can. Credit unions, banks also will be able to do this. I think people are not bullish enough. And then you also have certain states moving forward with their own crypto regulation to try to engage people to move there. So really quickly, like here, let me show you this. In the US, how many people live next to water? There's a huge percentage of people. Let me see here. Look at this, 40. This is 2014. That's not helpful. This at this time, 40% of the US population live next to the coast, right? A lot of people are busheled up on the edges, and then you have a lot of open space in the middle of the United States. And in the middle of the United States, you have states who are working to create their own laws, to try to get people to move to those states, to try to get people to come and build their businesses in those states. And Missouri is one of those states. Missouri removes capital gains tax on Bitcoin, XRP stocks, and real estate. Now, you got to remember, if you live in Missouri, this is a state doing this, not the federal government. So you're still going to have to pay your federal taxes, but you want to talk with your tax expert and see if you sell some crypto assets, would they qualify if you live in this particular state? But what I want to show you this is, as you have states and the federal government moving forward with crypto regulation, that is also going to put some buying pressure on the market, right? You have crypto, Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, and more, stocks, real estate. Yes, we just did that. Missouri lawmaker said loud and clear, Missouri residents can now trade, flip, and hodl and keep every dollar for profit at the state level. 102-41 vote, governor backed. This isn't a drill. So here's the bill, right? Done. Introduced by Representative Perkins in the House. There it is, right? So really interesting to see Missouri moving forward on that. All right. You know what? Let me grab a drink. Give me 1 second. Just bear with me. We have 1,700 people here. Give me 30 seconds. I just need to grab something and then I can re-engage in this. I need to get some water because I talk a lot. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Thank you for holding. All right, let's get into this economic news. Remember, guys, this is what we are looking at. Let's try to just keep it civil in the chat, okay? China keeps stocking up on gold, right? China's central bank increased its gold holdings by 70,000 troy ounces in April to a record 73.8 million. This marks China's sixth consecutive month purchasing gold. Gold has been going up dramatically over the last few months, and actually last 12 months. Stagflation has become the best case even for the Fed. Everybody is flocking to, gold, silver, copper, crude oil, natural gas. All of these are up a tick, but you can see gold and silver up a bunch here. You also have the market recent recovery has been historic. The S&P 500 has rallied 13.7% over the last 21 trading sessions, the best 21-day gain since 2020, when the index jumped 25%. Only 5 periods this century have seen stronger 21-day gains. It was 2020, 2009, 2008, 2002, and 2001. These are when times the stock market was either in the middle of a bear market or at the beginning of a new bull market. Let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think we're in the middle of a bear market, or do you think we're at the beginning of a new bull market? Remember, the stock market over the last 2 years has hit so many brand new highs. I would say we are kind of in the place where this is more led by retail investors rather than institutions. I think retail might not understand what's about to hit them. And that's going to be really, really unfortunate. I would not be getting into the stock market right now with all of the news and information I am about to go over with you. This is why, assets like Bitcoin and gold are going up dramatically. The US dollar is losing value, but it says since April 7th, low the S&P 500 is up 17%, have recovered all post-Liberation Day losses. However, the index is still trading 1.5% below the 200-day moving average. A lot of stuff is priced in here. And then you also have this. This is May 9th, so this is today's date. Breaking the S&P turns red on the day President Trump proposes an 80% tariff on China. So, guys, remember this. Chinese businesses, there is a lot of competition. Very few industries in China have over a 10% profit margin. When you put an 80% tariff on something with a 10% profit margin, you are losing basically 70% there on what you're trying to, like, you can't stay in business losing that much money. And a lot of American businesses use China to put, manufacture things, put things together, and then ship it out from there. So this is affecting American businesses, but you also have China has responded saying that they firmly oppose U.S. abuse of reciprocal tariffs. It's beginning increasingly clear that some forms of tariffs will remain in the long term. Remember, Trump put a 90-day pause on tariffs. That 90-day pause is over on July 9th. If the Trump administration cannot engage with countries and get trade deals in that amount of time, all of those tariffs are going to hit all of the goods you buy every single day. That is going to be catastrophic for America. China's commerce minister says China firmly opposes U.S. reciprocal tariffs. This comes just hours after President Trump. We did talk about that. Excuse me. That was twice. You also have Canada's unemployment rate surges to 6.9% above expectations, marking its highest level since 2021. So you're already seeing like an issue in Canada with people not being able to work, or people that are being laid off because factories maybe are not pumping out as many goods and materials because the tariffs are having a big effect. It says Canada's youth unemployment rate now stands at a whopping 13.7%, which means if you have kids, kids that are younger adults in Canada, they're having a very hard time to get a job. 14 out of 100 kids in Canada are unemployed, is what this is saying. You also have the Federal Reserve's balance sheet declined by 17 billion over the last month to 6.7 trillion, the lowest since April 2020. Since April 2022, the Fed has reduced its balance sheet by 2.3 trillion, or 25%. This is 48% of the 4.8 trillion the Fed purchased during the post-pandemic. So basically, the Fed bought, a bunch of different assets during COVID to get the market moving again. And the Fed needed to sell those assets to recoup the money, and they were able to recoup $2.3 trillion. The federally currently holds 4.2 trillion. The Federal Reserve 4.2 trillion in treasuries and 2.2 trillion in mortgage-backed securities. In March, the Fed announced that it would slow the average pace of quantitative tightening from 60 billion per month to 40 billion per month. And so they're going to actively start buying again soon. And then you have long-term inflows to U.S. assets have been massive since 2007. U.S. equity, corporate bond, treasury funds have attracted 3.5 trillion in net inflows. You also have U.S. equities have accounted for 34% of all inflows, or 1.2 trillion. Inflows accelerated following the 2020 pandemic to 2.5 trillion following U.S. funds. Even during the 2022 bear market, inflows continued, with only equity funds seeing net outflows of 100 billion. Despite the recent market sell-offs, U.S. funds are still seeing strong inflows. Will this continue? There's also this. This is absolutely incredible. We did talk about the 21 days for individual investors, right? This is who's pumping the market. Individual investors have been net buyers of equities for 21 consecutive weeks, the longest streak on record, according to BofA. So here is a 21-week streak where retail is buying and institutions are not. Like, institutions sold, banks, companies, they sold off a lot a few months ago, preparing for what we're about to get into here. But retail investors are the ones that are carrying the market. This is more than double the previous record in 2021 and 2022. Over the last 4 weeks, Bank of America's private clients have purchased a record $2 billion of equities. On the other hand, hedge funds have sold a record $1.5 billion. At the same time, look, you see what's happening here? Individual investors are buying into the market, okay? As you were seeing, hedge funds are selling what retail people are buying in, and hedge funds are selling basically on top of the people buying in. I want you to understand, institutions are much better investors than retail buyers, right? Institutions and hedge funds, they have people working for them that understand what's going to happen in the market with inflation and the Fed, and all of that stuff is taken into consideration. Retail buyers buy off of feeling mostly. At the same time, Bank of America's institutional clients have dumped $2.7 billion the second largest in history. So here you go. Here's their institutional clients selling 2.7 billion. I want to make this clear that retail is going to get fucked. Excuse my language, but retail is going to be the ones holding the bag. Institutions are running for the hills. That should tell you something about what's going to happen in the stock market over the next few months. Unless rates drop to zero overnight, it's going to be difficult for this buying to continue from retail investors. This is a much larger divergence between retail and institutional investors than during the 2022 bull market. The Main Street and Wall Street divide is massive. This is what I'm trying to communicate to you guys, right? And then, you did have President Trump said that he would graciously accept a tiny tax increase for the rich. If you're not familiar, the Republicans' current plan does have tax credits for 1%, top 1%. It's anywhere from $4 to $5 trillion. Now Trump is going kind of maybe back on that and is saying that he'd be interested in taxing the rich and wealthy instead. So it's really difficult to say what's actually going to happen here, if Trump is just saying this or this is actually going to be put in a bill. But you do have those massive tax credits that are going to go onto America's bottom line of the debt that America owns. You also have this this President Trump, this remains President Trump's biggest problem, the bond market. Trump wants to lower rates. The Fed isn't cutting. They're announcing trade deals and yields are still rising, right? So even though they're announcing trade deals, the market doesn't believe them. What's happening here is countries and the people that hold a lot of U.S. debt in treasury bonds are dumping the bonds. They want out. All right. And this is what you're seeing, the 10-year. If the 10-year gets above 5%, I made a video about this. That is a number that, if it hits that level, the market will react extremely, extremely poorly. But remember, this is America's financial future. If you want the US dollar to remain the world reserve currency, countries are going to need to trust the US financial markets. And there's not a lot of trust that's involved in this right now. That's why you're seeing rates starting to tick up, right? You're also, US car prices are surging. Used car prices are surging. Wholesale and used car prices jumped 4.9%. You just had Ford announce that they are forecasting to lose over $1 billion this year because of tariffs. Ford is saying that 3 of their models, they had to raise prices on. 3 of their most popular models they had to raise prices on because they're made in, I think it was Mexico or Canada. I can't remember which one. I do apologize. Let me see if I can find that here. Ford raises prices on 3 models. Let me see what models they are. All right. This is right up. Oh no. I don't know. Why isn't this? That's weird. Hold on. Let me remove this. Let me add this. I don't know why that doesn't share. Hold on. Oh my. Am I still here? Oh, fuck. Fucking internet, man. Oh. All right. Am I here? Can you hear me? Mic check. 1, 2. Mic check. All right. I love you. Thank you. All right. Let me pull this up. All right. I should be able to pull this up. There we go. Does that work? It does work. Okay, here you go. Ford raises prices on 3 vehicles models due to the U.S. tariffs. New tariff are driving up car prices. This is why used cars prices are going insane. In response to the mounting pressure of U.S. tariffs, imported vehicles, Ford Motor has announced an increase of $2,000 on 3 of its models manufactured in Mexico. So made in Mexico. That's why. Let's see. Does it say what models they are? The price hikes on Wednesday affect the Maverick, the Bronco Sport, and Mach-E vehicles. I have no idea. I don't buy Ford, so I don't know if, but this is an issue not only with Ford, but you're seeing this issue with other car manufacturers as well. So let's go back to this data here. All right. What is the benefit here, guys? The benefit is if you're thinking about trading in your car is going to have more value. Or if you're looking to sell your car to a third party, your used car is going to have more value. The negative is when you go to replace that car, whether you sell it to a private party or you sell it to a dealership, if you need a car still and you want to get a new car, the new car, if it's manufactured pretty much anywhere on the planet right now, you're going to be paying more money for that vehicle. All right, month to month over, car prices rose 2.7%, marking the second consecutive monthly increase. The biggest year-over-year increase was recorded on luxury and SUV segments, plus 5.9 and 5.5%. So car prices are going up dramatically. Non-EVs, pickups, and EV prices rose 4.7 to 2.5% and 1.6% respectively. Car prices are now 38% higher than they were before the 2020 pandemic. Oh my God, imagine that. 5 years and the cars are 38% more expensive. This is not saying like, oh, remember in my day, decades ago when cars were, this was 5 years ago. Cars were basically 40% cheaper. Insane. All right. And then you have U.S. companies announced $233.8 billion in buybacks in April, the second highest amount since the data began in 1984. This is a sharp reversal from the $39.1 billion announced in March, and at least since October 2020. Year to date, repurchase announcements have reached a record of $665.1 billion. Buyback announcements have now surpassed the previous high of $598 billion set in 2022. U.S. executives appear to be signaling confidence in their stocks after the recent market sell-off. You also have U.S. layoffs are skyrocketing. This is something you don't hear every day. U.S. employers announced 105,000 job cuts in April, the highest for any April in 5 years. This should be something that you should be paying attention to. If companies are laying off workers, those workers are not going to get paychecks. Those workers are going to be on unemployment. The unemployment rate is going to rise. We are basically setting this up for stagflation. Excluding 2020, this was the highest count for any April since 2009. So going back to the last financial crisis, this is something you should be paying attention to. Over the last 6 months, there have been 690,000 jobs cut, 99,000 jobs cut, the most since the 2020 pandemic. Job cuts have been particularly high in government sectors, following by retail and technology. Doge actions, market economic conditions and restructuring have been a major driver of layoffs. You know what's really funny that I learned about Doge? Doge says that they were going to cut 2 trillion. Then they revised it down to 1 trillion. Then they revised it down to 150 billion. And after some real some information gathering was done on the Doge cuts, actually the 150 billion that they're going to save, that's going to cost us $130 billion. The reason it's going to cost us $130 billion is because they fired a bunch of people that were government employees, and then they realized, oh shit, I might need not to fire these people. These people are in control of, air traffic controls. These people are in control of, key parts of the U.S. government. So they had to go back and hire those people on contracts, which they have to pay those people more money. So the whole thing with Doge has been a big flop. They've saved pretty much nothing. They're actually going to cost the American people more money than they set out to save, which is insane. I also want to show you this video. 1 second here. Let me just pull this up. I need to get to my I can't pull it up. Hold on. I want to show you this 4-minute clip. It's on another YouTube channel. I watched it this morning, and you have to see what this person is saying about the economy, because I think if we can really truly understand what's about to happen, maybe we can capitalize on that. So let me just see what the video is called. Okay, hold on. This is why a recession is now coming. Okay, hold on. Oh man, of course they don't give me the freaking thing. Okay, hold on. You know what? I can share this. I can share this with myself. Share. Copy link. All right, I got this. Let me share it here. Okay, I got it. All right, let me pull it up. All right. It's a 4-minute clip. All right. And I know some people don't like this channel. I find this channel extremely helpful, so I'm going to play it. All right. Listen to this. This is Peter Zion. He's got 882,000 subscribers. He talks about a lot of geopolitical.
Hey, all, Peter Zion here, coming to you.
Check this out. All right. Here we go. Make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Here we go.
You from New York. There's the World Trade Center, and I couldn't think of a better place to discuss the recession that's about to hit us. This is the latest in our series on the fire hose of chaos, how the Trump administration's domestic and international policies are affecting the U.S. economy. If you were looking to avoid a recession, I'm afraid that ship has sailed. Like, it literally sailed out of China about 3 weeks ago. I'm recording this on the 29th of April. And back on the first week, we had tariffs that kicked into China that rapidly ratcheted up to 145%. And that basically turned into a trade embargo, and ships just stopped sailing. And at first it was just a few, and by now more ships have been canceled by a factor of 2 than what happened in the darkest days of COVID. The last of the pre-tariff vessels will dock in Los Angeles on or about May 5. About 2 weeks later, the last will hit Houston. About a week after that, here in New York. And at that point, the inventory that's in the country is all we've got to work with, and we will see goods shortages of almost every kind within a month. There's also not much of a chance of changing policy to avoid this at this point, because even if the Trump administration were to climb down completely, and even if everyone in China were able to go back to work the next second, you still wouldn't see loadings within a month, and then it's another month for it to cross the ocean. We'd already be talking about sometime in September or October. And that's just one piece of the equation. We also have weakness everywhere else. The Trump administration says it wants to increase deficit spending by $1 trillion. That's going to raise capital costs. That won't be compensated by the Doge cuts. Doge has steadily revised down how much they think.
Oh yeah, here. This is where I got the Doge information. Check this out.
They're going to cut out of the federal government from $2 trillion to $1 trillion to $150 billion. And the most recent data suggests that cutting that $150 billion actually cost $130 billion, because a lot of the jobs that were let go were people that were actually essential workers that Congress mandates. And so they've had to be rehired on a contract basis, which costs more. That's before you consider what's going on in the housing sector, where we're seeing consumer confidence at its lowest since the financial crisis back in 2007. That's before you consider that industrial construction spending has dropped to 0, something that never even happened during COVID. And that kind of blip doesn't exist and is going back as far as the data is. The issue is we've had roughly 100 different tariff policies in 2 months, and no one knows what the rules of the game are. And we have had no effort by the Trump administration to put in place an industrial policy to actually encourage manufacturing construction. And so it's just withered on the vine from lack of confidence. Also, we have significantly slower economic growth in places like Michigan and Indiana already from the car tariffs that are already in place. And if the Trump administration does what it says it's planning on doing on May 2, those car tariffs expand to cover car parts, which will trigger a manufacturing recession in roughly 25 states.
Manufacturing recession in 25 states in the United States. If you're not from the United States, we have 50 states total. So a manufacturing recession in 25 states would be half the states in our entire country would be going through this manufacturing problem.
And that's before you consider that consumer spending is going to hit by agricultural tariffs that are just around the corner. And that's before you consider drug tariffs or semiconductor tariffs, which are being promised. Basically, we're looking at a secular slowdown in economic growth in almost every sector at the same time. Almost none of it has to do with economic fundamentals. It all has to do with policy. And even if we got a complete policy change today, we're going to have several months before we recover from this just by unwinding things. And perhaps the darkest point of this is that some version of this was probably going to happen anyway. Birth rates have been dropping for decades, and it was always going to be the period between 2025 and 2035 when a number of countries, including but not limited to Germany, Italy, Japan, and China, basically aged out of being productive systems. And when that happened, globalization was going to crash. But the tariffs are making it crash now harder and in a way that is causing a lot of heartbreak for Americans. That wasn't necessary. What does the other side of this look like? Don't know. That has become a policy question.
All right. So, that's what it is, guys. Like, we don't know how this is all going to play out. But that's the data. Over the next few months, if something drastic does not happen, you are going to start seeing empty shelves. All right. You are going to see unemployment starting to tick up. And maybe that's what the Fed needs to bring interest rates down. But then you're also going to be like, we just went through this. If you remember 2020, when everybody was pretty much out of a job, everyone was forced home. They printed a bunch of money, right? The supply chain had less items in the supply chain. Those goods were more expensive. We're going through the exact same issue. This time it's not to do with a disease, but this time it's to do with policy decisions. So obviously the Trump administration has a lot of hurdles that they need to jump over. And I'm just trying to prepare you for what could be a truly historic negative impact on the global economy. So I have a surplus. I'm glad you do. A lot of businesses do not have a surplus. Trump knows what he's doing. He knows crypto and will be a safeguard. Hey, Tony, I hope that's real, man. I really hope so. How about we talk about Democrats shooting down the stablecoin bill? Yeah, let's do that, man. Let's do that. Let's bring that up. Dems vote no on Genius Act. Let's talk about that. All right, here we go. All right, so this is what the person wanted to talk about in the chat. So if you're not familiar with what's happening here, you have two stablecoin bills in Congress. The Genius Act is in the Senate, and then you have the Stable Act, which is in the House. And so I think was this Wednesday? Let me see. Senate Democrats are considering asking Senate Republican leaderships to delay a vote on the Genius Act this week to allow more time for negotiations, Axios has learned. Obviously, they didn't give him more time, but this is kind of what the setup was here. Why it matters, lawmakers made progress towards saving the crypto bill during the 11th hour in meetings on Wednesday, sources tell Axios, but Democrats want more time for talks. Senate Republicans on Wednesday afternoon were reviewing Democrats' proposed changes to the Genius Act, according to sources familiar with the discussions. While progress had been made, there's no deal yet. And a Democratic aide involved in the talks told Axios, adding that discussions were ongoing. Democrats are threatening to withhold their support for the measure, which would lay out the first regulatory framework for stablecoins. The big picture Democrats involved in negotiations have publicly cautioned Republicans against jamming them up on the bill. But GOP leadership is still going ahead with plans to hold a procedural vote on Thursday. That's what was voted on, and that's what was denied. All right, now let me pull up the information on that. Hold on, let me hear it. Here it is. All right, we got it up. All right, so here was landmark crypto regulation package failed to advance in the Senate Thursday after key Democrats backed out over the weekend, dubbed the Genius Act. The bill needed 60 votes. So regardless, now, and I know there's a lot of hate towards Democrats here, but regardless, you still needed a bunch of Democrats to cross the aisle to vote yes on the bill, right? You had two Republicans that actually went and voted with the Democrats. And so with those two Republicans, they lost 49-48. With those two Republicans, they would have won, but they wouldn't have had the 60 votes they needed to get this over the hump. So Scott Passett tweeted this out. For stablecoins and other digital assets to thrive globally, the world needs American leadership. This Senate missed an opportunity to provide that leadership before by failing to advance the Genius Act. The Genius Act aims to create a regulatory framework. We did talk about that. But 9 key Democrats, 4 of whom previously voted for the bill in committee, said over the weekend that they would not support legislation. So you have what it sounds like here is Democrats want to be included with the bill, and they wanted to change some wording and verbiage on the bill. Republicans didn't want to postpone. They wanted to push forward. And, I think it goes to a larger problem. What's wrong with our country is the two sides can't get along. The two sides can't be in a room together to work things out. And so basically it's made Congress pretty inept. They can't do very much. And that's a big problem. So, Democrats have been holding back crypto in this country for so long. I wonder where we would have been, in the Biden administration if they hadn't attacked the crypto industry, where we would be now. It's hard to say, but it's painful, and I get it. Yeah, Rand Paul and Josh Hawley, they're the ones who jumped over to vote, but I don't know. You still have the Stable Act, and the Genius Act isn't dead. They just voted no to for further discussions. That doesn't mean they can't bring it back up for a vote, but they need to secure those votes before they do. They need to secure that. So Stargate says Democrats would make moves to sabotage American advancement. That it does feel like that, doesn't it? I completely know where you're coming from when you say that, and it's felt like that. Absolutely, it has felt like that. There's an issue with both sides here, right? I think Democrats are too. They're not. I don't know what it is, because they were pro CBDC, so why wouldn't they be pro stablecoin, right? I don't get it. Is that about control? I don't know. I really don't know, man. I really don't know. Yeah, Jim, you could be right there. We just don't know how it's going to play out. I think people have already made up their minds about how this is going to play out, but I think we need to give it some time to really understand it before we kind of, whatever. I think you guys need to give it some time here. It's an interesting thing, right? Because on one hand, you have Republicans pretty much taking the U.S. economy. I don't even know what you would call this: a recession, a depression, a free fall. I mean, I don't know. And then you have Democrats who are not pushing forward crypto. So like, you could be mad at both sides right now for not doing what they're supposed to be doing for the American people. I think the hate should be put on both sides. But anyways, let's get back into some crypto stuff, because I know when we start talking about this stuff, it gets a little heated in the chat. But that's pretty much the facts of what's happening. However you guys want to take that facts, up to you, man. Up to you. They hate Doge. Well, Doge really didn't do shit, right? Doge promised to do all of this great stuff for the American people, and they went in there and they started firing everybody, and they started collecting all of Americans' data on one database. I'm not a fan of that. No, I don't approve of that, and I don't think a lot of the American people do either. And showing the information I just showed you, where there went from 2 trillion to 1 trillion to 150 billion to oops. I guess we cost the American people money instead of saving the American people money. I think Doge is a complete failure. Complete failure. Absolutely. But even if you had Josh and Rand, right? Even if they agreed and they voted with Republicans, you still don't have the 60 votes. So at that point where you need to work with the other side, I don't understand why you wouldn't spend more time that. But let's see here. Casey says it's simple. Anything Trump and the administration is in favor of, they are against. I mean, there's a lot of truth in that. Is there a chance Ripple is waiting to put most of the banks that signed on chain at once, or adding everyone so far and partner with them? So, Young, that's a great question. Thank you so much for that question. I think what you're seeing right now is, for a long time, banks didn't feel comfortable touching crypto in the United States because of the Biden administration. And you can't just flip a switch and then banks, jump. It takes banks a minute to position themselves, right? Because if you think about this, yes, some of the bigger banks probably could afford to set up what they were going to do with crypto beforehand, but signing a partnership agreement and having your entire bank, running a node on the network is two different things. So I don't know where individual banks are when it comes to adoption, but I do think with the OCC, the Federal Reserve, the FDIC, and other government agencies starting to lift different things so banks can start using crypto, I think we have a real shot here of seeing some adoption in 2025. I just don't know how much adoption it will be. Tony, let's see here. It says, look at who's not voting. They're mostly old and crusty. They don't know what crypto is. Well, Tony, I'd say you're right. I think a lot of young people that wanted crypto regulation came out and voted. I think you saw that. I think you saw an incredibly big uptick in that. I just don't know if, I don't know, man. There's a lot of other stuff. I'm trying not to get too in the wind here because we can slip over the edge of this and just not good. The communists love CBDCs because it allows them control over the sheeple. Yeah, I mean, you might be right. You might be right about that. Doge is costing us money. Yeah. It's like, let's look at the facts. If you look at the facts, Doge has had a negative impact on America, not a positive impact. And I think you are seeing that pushback with Tesla, right? And whether you like the car or you love Elon, whatever it is, there's obviously a large opposition forming against that. So, how is it a complete failure? They save lots of money in other departments. It's a complete failure. Did you not just listen to the clip I played? How much money that they've actually saved and how much money they've actually cost America? They went from 2 billion to 1 billion to, they went from 2 trillion, saving 2 trillion to 1 trillion. Then they revised it to 150 billion, right? But some of the people that they fired, okay, they didn't really look at who am I firing. They just went in and started firing people. Okay. And so some of the people that they fired are like the researchers who are like researching cancer research and who are making sure planes land safely and all these other jobs, like the weather service. I can't remember. I can't remember what it's called, but they fired like all of the people that go up in planes to make sure, like, if a tornado or a storm is coming, they fired a lot of those people. So they had to go back and rehire a lot of the people that they fired. When they rehired the people, they had to put them on contracts because they just fired them from the government and they're having to pay them more money. So $20 billion is the savings right now with a budget of 6 trillion, 7 trillion. You're not even reaching like 0.01%. So it is a complete failure. Yes. I mean, it is what it is, guys. Am I glad Trump closed the border? I don't know. Is that good? Is that good for America? I saw a lot of people, like tourists that want to visit America, getting arrested at the border and getting locked up. And now I know that I have friends that don't live in America that were going to come visit America that are scared to come visit now because of the policies that we've taken. So is it good for America or bad for America? I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask business owners and things like that over the next few months if they think it's good. I think if you look at some of these areas that rely on travel and visitors, they've seen, a 60, 70, 80% cutback in reservations, especially from our neighbors in Canada and people coming up from Mexico. So I'd say, on one hand, yes, great, we've closed the border or whatever. On the other hand, it's incredibly bad for business. So at what point is it helping or hurting Americans? I think that's a larger issue that we have to talk about. See here, Bubba says, it blows my mind. The entire crypto market cap is 3 trillion. Guys are so early. It really does, like, retail beat institutions in. That's exactly what we've done, Bubba. Exactly what we've done. We've beaten institutions in. And there's still time. I think that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. I don't think this is the cycle where we're talking about mass adoption. I think that's the next cycle. I think this cycle, there's still a lot of things that are kind of up in the air. I do think, you have this adoption happening in places like Europe and the UK and Australia, South America, even Canada. Mark Carney, the new PM, he worked at the Bank of England, right? He was in charge of the Bank of England when they were working with Ripple on their proof of concept. So Mark Carney knows Ripple and he's worked with them in the past. I start to wonder, is Canada going to create some type of stablecoin or CBDC? We might see that. I'll see here. Hold on. I need to explain the statement. You need to explain that statement. Eliminating waste and fraud is good. Sorry to sound like a Democrat, just saying, so hold on. Listen, on this channel, I'm going to bring opinions in from the right and the left. And I know people get their panties in a twist sometimes because this can get hard to talk about. I get it. But I think somebody in the crypto space needs to have these conversations. And I hope that we can build a place here that we can share our ideas without having to worry about if you sound like one or the other. Let's just put out what you want to say. You don't have to say, sorry to sound like a Democrat. It is what it is. Okay. So if you look at how much money Doge has saved America and how much money Doge has cost America, the savings is not a lot. So I played a clip Here, I'm not going to replay the clip. Maybe I'll find, hold on. All right. I'm not going to replay this whole thing, but if you want to go watch this Peter Zehan clip, please do. Please do. Go watch that clip. He talks about the Doge, how much money Doge has saved. He said that, Doge went from 2 trillion to 1 trillion to 150 billion. And the people that Doge, I've explained this a few times. I'm not going to explain it anymore. Later, Lizard King. Peace. Let's see here. Ben says those NGOs are feeding Marxist groups and stories are bullshit. I don't know, man. It's really fun to bring this stuff up, guys, with you. All right. Trump's been a blessing and a curse for crypto. His pre-taking office rug pull is behind the Dems looking for more regs on the stablecoin. First of all, thank you so much for the $5. And actually what you're saying here makes a lot of sense. I think there's some entanglement with Trump in the crypto market right now. And I think Democrats are using that as, their diving board into what's called. I don't like how the Democrats approach talking about crypto stuff, where it's their way or the highway. I think Republicans are very similar, right? It's their way or the highway. And I think we need to figure out this middle ground. And I don't understand, we've got so polarized left versus the right, where we're all the same people. We just need to be able to get in a room together and talk with one another. And I think that's the hardest part. And when we talk about this stuff, it flares up anger and frustration. And it's not me that you're angry at. Let's just be clear, right? You're angry at what's happening, right? And can these things be avoided? I think is the real question, right? Like, did we need to go down this road of, creating the Trump token, the Melania token, his kids are creating tokens. Like, are they too close to the ecosystem? And I think, is that causing a bad light for Democrats to take advantage and to what's called, it's difficult, man. It's really hard. Oh yeah, I got killed, bro. I got killed. The hard part too was like, how much I made is not how much I kept. And I've been very clear on that. I didn't know as much as I know now today about the current market. And I got killed. And like, my 2021 tax bill was not fun. It was not fun. I should have saved more from how much I made. And that was a hard year to pay all of those taxes. Cause then I had to sell other assets that I didn't want to sell. But it was a lot, man. There's a lot. Zed, doubting the border closing is very, very disappointing coming from you because your friends can't come in. Lol. Hella funny, Zed. Super cool. I don't know, man. I think people are, fuck, I don't need to apologize to you for how I think. You're here getting value from me. Like this, I'm telling you how it is. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do, bro. Larry Linsman, wish everyone health and prosperity. Thank you, Larry. Thank you for the 5. Luna, thanks you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. It's good versus evil. One side creates life, the other side kills. Oh, damn. We are way off the fucking radar now. Can we talk about crypto again? It's so hard. Fridays, like, when I share all this economic data, man, it spurs a lot of frustration in the audience. What do you do though? Like, do you not share it? Do you just keep it all like under wraps so like people don't get upset? I don't know. Then I would have to be somebody other than who I am. I don't know if I can do that. Let's see here. Road to the Philippines says, I voted for Trump, but I have to admit that it was bullshit. And him and his wife came out with their own meme coin. I think, listen, man, like, I'm not against you guys, right? Like, I'm not against Republicans. My dad's a Republican. My sister's a Republican. My sister's husband's a Republican. Like, just like I'm sure it is in a lot of our families where we have people that maybe side more with one side or another. I think that, I miss the times where we used to be able to talk about issues and not have to like go to some major extremes of like one policy thing or another. Like, I don't know. Am I a European American? I am an American American. I'm an American American. I grew up in California though, so I don't know if that is something. Thank you, Edward. I appreciate you, man. Love you, man. Keep it up. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate you too. We got 199 coming from I Am the Key. Can we talk about your tax bill? No. What do you want to know about my tax bill? How much did I pay? Oh God. I think it was all said and done. I paid like 400,000 or something, or 300 and something thousand. It was a lot. It was a lot. But like this was like OG Ethereum, where like I had a huge write-off for like gas fees. I had a huge write-off for like nodes and things like that, because back then you could write off nodes, like the cost you put into nodes. I had a really good tax company that helped me out with that, but it was painful, man. We need a moderate party. I think you're right. I think there, you know, I don't think there'd be enough people in that party to what's it called? You know, I mean, I don't like at all what like Senator Warren and some of those other people, you know, how they've just fully attacked the crypto market. I don't agree with any of that, guys. Like, I think that's terrible for the market. I really do. I think we're heading to a place where people need to be very conscientious about the economy, right? Because either, you know, you work at a place that's a small business that could be affected by all of these tariffs, or, you know, you can't live in America and not be affected by tariffs. And like, I'm worried about the tariff causing things to be more expensive. And I'm worried about inflation coming back, because that was the biggest issue over the last 4 years with people. Like that was the number one issue, was inflation, right? Things are too expensive. Things are about to get even more expensive is what I'm trying to tell you. All right. I appreciate you, Renee. Thank you so much for being here. I love the PFP. We have 1,942 people here. Love to see everybody here. Appreciate you. I know that not everyone is going to agree with me on everything, but just know that, you know, it doesn't come from a place of hate. It comes from a place of wanting to better understand and sharing these things with you. Because if I can share some of these ideas with you, and they can cause you to research this more and better understand what's happening, that is going to be an incredible achievement, because you can see what's coming and how important these digital assets are going to be to our everyday way of life. So I love you guys. Thank you so much. And then make sure that you guys are showing some love to Ariana and other moderators in the chat. They work hard to keep everybody safe in chat, keep all the scammers out. So please show them some love. I really appreciate it. Your advice, Sensei. Law has paid off for me. Thank you. It helps out a lot, Tony. I love to hear that, man. I really do. Thank you for being here, Tony. And I appreciate all of your questions and all of your things that you throw into. So it's great to have you. Thank you for being a part of this, Tony. Let's see here. So Bubba says, I voted for Trump, but all the Trump savior people in her here is a bitter pill. Bubba, you want to rephrase that so I can better understand that? I'd love to talk about what you're saying there. It says XRP to the moon. We gonna be rich. I think we are, man. I really do. Listen, I have studied thousands of crypto projects. I have read more white papers, interviewed more CEOs and founders of projects than I can count. Hundreds at this point. What I've learned is there are some companies that are going to redefine how money moves around this planet. There's going to be companies that reshape how value is stored and moved. And if you can invest early enough in those infrastructures, you can own the new financial system. Think about what I just said. You can own the new financial system. Owning an XRP or an XDC or an Algorand or a Quant or whatever is the new financial system. Let me ask you a question. Can you think back in history where you've had the opportunity to own a piece of a financial system? Raise your hand. You know, I can't see if you're raising your hand, but I'm sure none of you are raising your hand. This is a really big moment. Don't mess it up. Okay. Larry says, good morning. They said, good morning, GM. Who's GM? Said that they will pass no tariffs onto customers. Good marketing, and they're still projecting 10 GM. Really? GM said, well, hold on. So let me see if I can pull this up for you, Larry. GM said that they will pass no tariffs on to customers. Okay, so let's see if the GM said they will pass no tariffs onto customers. That would be incredible if they could do that. Seeking Alpha. Well, I don't really trust that. Let me see here. 1 week ago. All right, so GM lowers 2025 guidance, citing up to $5 billion worth of tariff exposure. Is this a good thing? All right. Let's see here what this says. Well, here's the gist. GM said on Thursday they lowered earnings guidance, include a possible $4 billion to $5 billion impact on tariffs. So if GM's going to eat this $4 to $5 billion, man, that's crazy. GM said that the new guidance includes just a bit of 10 billion and 12.5 billion, down from 13 and 15. So they had to readjust how much they're making. So what you said isn't quite what this is saying. So they're saying that they were projecting to make 13.7 to 15.7. They had to revise that down to 10 to 12.5. GM released first quarter results Tuesday that beat Wall Street's expectations. So, if GM doesn't pass all of that onto their customers, that's incredible. The issue here isn't with the issue is obviously with all companies. But what I want you to put yourself in the seat of is a small business owner. Let me show you this. Perplexity. Let me bring up Perplexity because that's what I like to search on. What do small businesses in the USA hold on. What do small businesses in the USA hire compared to large corporations? I'm gonna see if I can find the data with that. Hold on. Sometimes I need to reword it right. What share of the workforce works for small businesses instead of larger ones? Let's see if I can find that data. I think it's like a really high number, right? 40 here. Nearly half of all U.S. workforce is employed. So half of the entire workforce in the United States is small businesses. Okay. So when you have small businesses that rely on, right? You have small businesses that rely on products, right? Maybe from China or some of these other countries that have tariffs on them. 25% tariff means you have to either charge more, or you're not going to make money. Most of these small businesses don't have 25% profit in the things that they are selling, especially if they're coming from, places like China. There's really, maybe 4 or 5, maybe a little bit larger percentage. So all of these businesses are going to lose money. That's the problem, right? If these businesses are not selling as many goods, these businesses will have to lay off workers. If they lay off workers, that's more people on unemployment in the United States, more people without a job, more people that can't invest in the crypto market. Okay. That is what we're talking about here. That is what I'm worried about. So Bubba says a 58% increase. Meanwhile, 41.3% of small businesses temporarily closed and 1.8% permanently shut down. The highlights start dividing how the crisis affected the wealthy versus small business. Oh, I think you're commenting. Let's see. I am the key with another 199 says, just want to save as much as I can on my tax bill. If you're asking me like who you should talk to about your taxes, I do have a few places that I can bring up. I am the key. You want to DM me on Twitter? I'll give you the names of the companies. Hold on. Just make sure that you're DMing the right me here. This is my portfolio, or not before. This is my Twitter account. Oh shoot. Why doesn't that here? Share this instead. So here's my Twitter account, 57,900. If you send me a DM, I will get you the information that you're looking for. Okay. I got you. One of my tax guys, they're not working with new outside people. So I just don't want to put their number on blast on here. Take the pain and reap the benefits later. Hey man, there's going to be pain. And I hope there's a shit ton of benefits for the pain, man. I really do. It's all right, Bubba. Thank you for being here, man. Thank you for speaking your mind. I appreciate you, bro. Ben says, what do you recommend the first time taxes in crypto? So guys, it really depends on how much money that you're like, how many trades you're doing and how complex your taxes are. There are some people that are more tax literate than like, I hate taxes. I'm not very good at my taxes. So I have to hire a company to help me, because I don't know what to do. And like I pay them, I go over, I give them a spreadsheet of my spending and what I'm doing. And they say, hey, this is how much money you owe. I pay that and I walk away. But like, what is the tax? There's a few different tax like apps that you can use for your crypto. What is it called? It's not called Taxify. It's called, hold on. We're going to Google, or we're going to Twitter. Hold on, Google. Crypto tax apps. Oops. Coinly. This is what I use. Coinly. Well, not the Canadian version, but obviously coinly.io. This is a company that you can pay to do your taxes. Okay. Let me 1 second here. Let me just hold on. But this is the software that I still use. And then once like all the data is together, I give this to my tax person, and you can actually add your tax person into Coinly, which is actually a really good benefit as well, to do all this. But let me just give you hold on. Here we go. Copy. All right. Here is a link for Coinly. I posted it in the chat. If you want to go check out Coinly, you can use my link, or you can just go to their website. If you want to support my channel, use the link. I get $20. Cool. But more benefit to you doing your taxes correctly. All right. But thank you guys so much. Nomad's here. What's up, Nomad? Good to see you, bud. How are you? I got another maybe like 14, 15 minutes. I have somebody coming over to help me with the lights. So I'm trying to, it's going to help me with the lights and the camera, setting all this up. So I'm excited to see what happens. And the person's coming in like 15 minutes. So I'm just going to answer questions until they get here and try to be as helpful to you as I possibly can. We still have about 1,933 people hanging out. Good to see you all here. Tony's still here. Great to see you. I'm sure Grok will love to do that. ChatGPT too. I like Perplexity. I really like Perplexity AI. That's a really good one too. I use Perplexity almost every day to look up stuff. It's just, you can get a lot more data in a search than you can like Google. So I use AI for a lot of stuff now. Why did Circle have to decline the acquisition? I know, isn't that crazy? Ripple trying to buy Circle or acquisition Circle. I think Circle understands like how big their business model could actually be. And I don't know, like if you worked extremely hard and you built a business from, nothing to making $1.7 billion a year, I think you'd want to keep that business. I mean, they only cleared, what was it, $156 million out of the $1.68 billion they made, which is like 1/11 of your money that you made. But still, I don't know. We're gonna have to see how that all works out, man. Yeah, 1 USD equals $1.70 New Zealand dollar. Everything is 1.7x better for me. Love to hear that, man. It's always nice when you're on the good side of that trade. Peace for all. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. Coinly. Yes, Coinly is what I use. And taxes can be scary. Sensei, Circle was forced to reject the offer. It wasn't their choice. They're working on how to rectify this. Wait, why were they forced to reject it? I didn't read that. I just know that they rejected the first offer. Sensei, send me some fentanyl. What? No, you shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't be doing that. I don't, if you asked me in my 20s about stuff like this, I could probably be more helpful. But Sensei at 40, man, I've been married 10 years. I don't do anything cool these days. Like I'm home. I'm home all the time. All right. Oh, you like Perplexity, Richard? I love that, man. That's great. I think Perplexity is one of the best AIs I've used. Obviously, it's all about like what people like. What I like about Perplexity, before ChatGPT wasn't hooked up to the internet, or like it was hooked up like years ago. So Perplexity just gave me more live data that I could use in my videos. And so it was very helpful. Let's see here. Tony says, I got my 6,700 XRP and 0.1 Bitcoin, a whole load of altcoins, made a lot on gold, bought in July at rock bottom. Tony, man, you're making some great moves out here. Thank you for sharing that. I love to hear you, man. Are you going to go up to 10,000 XRP, or is this where you want to stay? Do you have some goals? Is 1,318 XRP enough? Listen, this is a map. I'm still buying XRP at $2. Like I'm still trying to claw on and buy as much as I can, man. Now, like, the crazy part is, I think we are, hold on 1 second. Mike, when you park, sign in at the security desk, and I'll come down. All right, get back to your questions here. They might not even ask for my Bitcoin account. They just scam my 5 kilograms of gold. Fuck. Yeah, you got to watch out for scammers, man. Think about everybody in your life. Like anybody you meet in the crypto industry, assume they're a scammer before you can confirm that they're not. Like, it's crazy, man. How much XRP to retire on 5 million? I don't know. I mean, do you think XRP is going to be worth thousands of dollars one day? I personally do think and feel that way. If Bitcoin can go to 100,000 or $1 billion one day, why can't XRP be $1,000 or $5,000 with all of its utility? So, if you have, let's say, 1,000 XRP and it goes to $5,000, what is that? Is that, hold on, that's $5 million, 1,000 XRP. So if you have 10,000 XRP, you could be doing pretty well. I mean, 10,000 XRP at $1,000 a token is $10 million. It depends how much money you spend, man. I did. That's good, Tony, man. I'm glad to hear it, bro. I love to see you making money, man. Am I bleeding? No, wait. All right, hold on. Let me see what this guy said. Gonna sell 5,000 shares. Man, sounds good. Do I need to know any other information? All right. XRP is pumping right now. Yeah, I know. The market's been pretty good, man. Let's pull this up. Let's refresh this. Oh, fuck. I am bleeding. All right. 103,000 for Bitcoin. Wow. Look at Ethereum, 28%. Like, telling you Ethereum was a buy at $1,500, man. Right here. This is when you should have bought Ethereum. I mean, even back here, like right in this dip, $411, $1,567. That's when. I don't know. I mean, Ethereum has a problem though, like as far as users right now. I think, institutions are probably going to come in, but man, just think if when institutions finally get behind XRP, it's going to be freaking bonkers. I know I saw some TA that XRP is going to, try to push to $3 and then go for its all-time high. Is 16,000 XRP enough? Could be, man. It very well could be. It becomes a sickness. It does, Mike. It does, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a good sickness. You're investing in your future. I don't know. Like people can go out and buy stocks or whatever, and own a share of a company or whatever. I'd rather own a share of the financial system. Fuck the stocks. Keep the stocks. I want to own what your stocks are going to be traded on, like which ledger your stocks are going to be traded on. I want to own that asset, and it does become a sickness. Project Ion, you're talking about the DTCC, Edward? I know what you're talking about. Is SHS working with Ripple? I've seen some people ask me this question. Let me see if Perplexity has any new data on it. Let me just refresh this real quick. Do you have any data showing SHX stronghold working with Ripple and XRP? Let's see. There is credible evidence of a direct partnership with Stronghold and Ripple, including Ripple Labs investing in Stronghold, technical integration efforts, and shared leadership with deep roots in both Ripple's stellar ecosystems. So I guess the answer to your question is yes, there is some proof. SHX is working with Ripple. Ripple is actually invested in them pretty early on. It says direct investment by Ripple. Ripple Labs made a direct financial investment in Stronghold. Multiple sources confirm that. You have shared ledger and technical roots, technical interoperability, strong operational partnerships and use cases. Stronghold's technology is designed to bridge traditional finance and blockchain networks, including XRP. And then you have market activity and ecosystem integration. You do have a direct connection. And if everyone's wondering what cryptocurrency that we are talking about, it's called SHX, which is Stronghold. This is actually cheap. Look at this, $57 million market cap, guys. You know what's crazy though? We were talking about Stronghold back in these prices, you know, and then you had this and then you had this, and then like, guys, this is gonna go. This is gonna go, man. Like, I mean, think about this. This is to go to $1 billion market cap. You're talking about a 20x from here. A 10 billion market cap. You're talking about a 200x. Very, very possible. You know, you look at you know, XRP 130 billion, 140 billion, 138 billion. You look at, I mean, even HBAR is at what, 8 billion, 8.6 billion and going up, man. Like, listen, a lot of opportunity out here, guys. A lot of fucking opportunity. Excuse my French. I lost 40,000 XRP in GateHub in 2008. Kate, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, guys, listen, you know, don't trust an exchange. Take your crypto, put it on a ledger, put it in a wallet, get it off of there. Not your keys, not your crypto. Let's see here. None of these coins have been used. None of these coins have been used, got their use case value OFC. The token will come from the demand. Yeah, the price will come from the demand and what the token actually brings. The sensei is being attacked. Repel the ninjas. Yeah, that was a little bit ago. It's okay though, man. I'm used to it. I know the subjects I talk about are difficult, and you know, I don't know. I don't know of another another crypto person that talks about the hard stuff when it comes to the economy. And I think that if I came up here and I'm trying to help you guys better understand the markets and better understand what you might be going through over the next few months, I think I have an obligation to tell you the information, even how upsetting it can be. And, you know, if you know that it comes from a good place in my heart and that I'm just trying to help you, you know, I hope you understand that. I hope you do. Don't talk about Ethereum. I need therapy. Oh, shit. Hey, Ryan, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Great to see you, man. Thank you for being a part of this. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. I don't need to bring that up. I got some Z-Bag today. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about that. You know, I've had a lot of people talk about that. I'm still trying to buy more, you know, HBAR and those type of tokens. I thought the Bill Hinman collusion in Ethereum was going to have some negative effect, but it doesn't seem like it. No, it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it at all, brother. It feels like Bill Hinman and those guys are just getting away with freaking highway robbery. Trump's not going to, the Trump administration is not going to investigate themselves, right? The Bill Hinman and stuff happened under the first Trump administration, and they're not going to, they're not going to open an investigation into some shit that happened in the first term. It's just not like, if it wasn't going to happen under the Biden administration and how stringent they got with crypto, it's damn sure not going to happen right now and today, guys. You just got to move on past it. I know it sucks. And I feel, you know, that, you know, XRP was picked on, Ethereum got the free pass, you know, I know, I think it speaks to the larger issue with the crypto market where people can pay for play, where Ripple is, you know, trying to make change in this new world. So I'm new to this. I have XRP and Uphold. do you think I should worry about moving it into a wallet? So Ryan, you always want to protect yourself if you can, man. If you don't think you're going to be trading the XRP on Uphold, like if you're not going to be like day trading it, it is a safer situation if the crypto is in a self-custody wallet. So like if you don't want to buy a ledger or a treasure or something like that, I do use a wallet to hold some XRP. Like I have about like 3,000 XRP in this wallet. But like, depends what the Zaman wallet works really great. I have it to buy like some meme coins and some NFTs sometimes. That's just kind of my play wallet. So yeah. Just if you're gonna buy a wallet, don't buy it off Amazon. Go directly to the Ledger site. Like here, just let me show you something. So what you don't want to do is go to Amazon, right? Because if you go to Amazon and you search like Ledger, and I might not be able to find it here, but like there are third-party companies that are not Ledger that end up starting to sell these wallets. Like some of them are like these are Ledger, but there are some sellers on here that just buy wallets. They open them up, they get the seed phrase, they repackage the wallet, and they send it to you, and you lose money. So if you're going to do it, I would just go to Ledger, the website, and buy it directly from there if that's what you want to do. Okay. I'm not sponsored by Ledger. It's just something that I've used in the past. I'm comfortable with it. But it all comes down to what you guys want to use. All right, let me see what we got here. Let's see here. Clever lad, that's for sure. Amazing advice I've had from him since I first watch daily now. Are you talking about me? What? Or are you talking about someone else? If you're saying nice things about me, I love to hear that. Please keep saying nice things about me. I'm just kidding. Best channel. Thank you for your time, Joel. Thanks for being here, Joel. Great to have you, man. Live in the past, miss the moment, and you'll not meet your wished for. You'll not meet your wish for future. Tony, man, you're so right. You just gotta keep looking. Gotta keep looking ahead, man. We did talk about that. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, see, some people like the Tangem wallet. The Zaman wallet is something I like. For whatever First Ledger works too. If you want to use a Telegram wallet, it really just depends what you feel safe on. Have you done any videos on XDC, Robert? I haven't. Like I talk a lot about like XDC and all these other altcoins in these live sessions. When I'm doing stuff for like XRP and CBDCs and tokenization, I try to stay with what I know the best, right? Because if I can get into where I know the best, I can deliver a good product for people. I can deliver good information in a jam-packed, short sort of way. If I start adding all of these other tokens, I feel like I won't have enough time to concentrate on what I'm truly passionate about. And that, of course, is XRP and the tokenization of financial assets. Let's see here. We have, can the Fed cut rates at any time? So who decides it? It's not Jerome Powell. Like, I think this is the biggest misconception. There are 12 board of governors. Those are the people that decide on what to lower rates or not to lower rates. Okay. So I think he's one of the voice of 12, but it really comes down to the board of governors at the Fed to decide lowering rates. It's not just Jerome Powell. All right. And so, the only reason they were going to cut rates is if unemployment spikes up, which we're probably going to see that soon. The problem, the Fed doesn't want to lower rates right now because they believe tariffs will be inflationary, and Americans are very worried about inflation ticking back up. And so that is the Fed is staying the Fed doesn't believe that we will make any progress in 2025 on inflation. Jerome Powell just said that, I think, in the Wednesday's meeting or the meeting before. So they don't believe they're going to make any positive change on inflation. So you're going to get no more rate cuts in 2025, most likely, unless something drastically changes for the financial system, like the Fed. All right. Let's see here. God bless for all that you do and study for your videos daily. It does show you care and will make it. That shows my friend. I appreciate you, Tony. Thank you, man. I really do. Like, I listen, guys. I don't think people realize this, but like, I have been making YouTube content for like 4 to 5 years. I had a different channel before, my Kryptonaires channel. It's where like I interviewed a lot of people, and for 4 years or like 4+ years, I didn't make any money with YouTube. I did it because I care. I did it because I want people to learn. And now we're there. Good stuff. I'm an XRP. I mean, XRP, Algorand, HBAR, XDC, Ondo, Quant, AVAX, Chainlink. It's all good, man. It's all good. ADA, Cardano, go get it, man. Seriously. Hedera is literally poised the rails. Yeah. Hedera is a big fucking deal. People are sleeping on so many of these other assets. Like, go be a part of the new financial system. Go buy some crypto today. That's it. That's it. Velo, I like Velo too. Velo's good. I got 20K. Where should I put it? So like Peter, nobody here is a financial advisor, right? We're just crypto natives, random people. Okay. So just understand that the less risk. So if you want to put money into things that are less risky, those are going to be the top 25, top 50, top 100 tokens. Okay. The more risk that you take on, the higher the chance of a return, but the higher chance of you getting scammed or you losing all of your money. So whatever your risk tolerance is, that's what you should focus on. If your risk tolerance is like, hey, I can't lose any of this money. This money is really important to me. Then you probably should stick to the top 100 tokens. If you want to gamble, there are AI tokens, there are DPIN tokens, there are real world asset tokens, there are, payment utility tokens you can invest in. And fingers crossed for you, brother. Tariff deals are being made. Kind of. And most increases were paused, so inflation is not imminent. It's a politics. Actually, there's some of this is true, some of this isn't accurate, but all good. We're not going to get into that too much. So normal deals on trade usually take 1.5 to 3.5 years. You are renegotiating 50 trade deals in 90 days. If you think you can renegotiate 50 trade deals in 90 days when a normal one deal takes, 1.5 years or 3.5 years, I just don't think it's probable. And even if all of the deals were worked out today, you still don't have supplies on ships heading for our shores. You are going to have empty shelves in the next 2 months. Mark my words. 2 months, empty shelves. I'll bring you the video footage when it happens right here. All right. Adam with a big £5, 5 pounds, excuse me. With how loyal the XRP army have been, you would think they'd allow an interview to be done with someone like you. I'm a bit offended that they don't. Adam, I am with you. I feel your passion. I would like an interview with Brad Garlinghouse or David Schwartz or Monica Long or somebody high up at Ripple. I've tried to contact Ripple. I've tried to contact Brad and Monica and all these people on LinkedIn. Nobody will get back to me. So I'm hoping, and I will. China US deal might be rocket fuel. Hey, if we get a deal with China, that would be incredible. I think we need a deal with China. I think there's a lot of other things going on with the US and China being the largest economy and the second largest economy. And there's some things there. There's some other layers to that are complex, but I think you're right. Do I think XRP can hit $10 this year? Yeah, I do. 100%. I mean, shit. I think what was it? God, what's his name? Jake Claver. I saw a short by Jake Claver talking about XRP price in 2025. And Jake, I think he said if everything goes right, he thinks that XRP could go at like to $1,000 this year. I think he said even higher than that. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Of course, I can, empty shelves. Yeah, 100%. 100%. So if you're not familiar with this, okay, most of what Americans buy, like 30-something% of all US goods come from China. Okay. And with the tariffs stopped boats from docking to unload goods. So like toys and games, 50% of that comes from China. When you're talking about cell phones, 80% of the cell phones Americans buy come from China. Monitors, furniture, home equipment, materials. Yes, a lot of that comes from China. And you actually have the cargo ships that bring those goods over are not docking, have not docked. Okay. And so we have goods right now that are being brought out to the whole United States, delivered. But when you don't have all these cargo ships coming in, you don't have goods to replenish the shelves, which will lead to empty shelves. All right. It's not rocket scientists. It's look at the issue we're having, right? It's a supply chain issue. We're not going to have goods to replace the goods that are being bought today. Yes, you are going to see empty shelves. Yes, 100%. All right. Well, you can believe that I'm wrong. That's fine. But if you look at all of the data, that's what it's showing. Okay. We don't need toys and games. It's not just toys and games though. Like here, I think I pulled this up for you. Let me show you. Let me show you. Where is Perplexity? I thought I had it pulled up here. You know what? I'm gonna have to research it though. Hold on. Let me share this tab. Let's go. Hold on. Let's share this. Okay. So the question is, what goods are we talking about here, right? Really? So here you go. Here it is. I pulled this up. So I said, how many goods come from China to the US? What goods expected to not be on shelves soon? So here you go. You tell me if this is going to be impactful. All right. I'm going to read this to you. This is what's not coming right now. Okay. None of this is coming. Electronics and electrical equipment, 127 billion. That's smartphones, laptops, TVs, and home electronics. Okay. You're not going to have any of that. Machinery and industrial equipment, 85 billion. Factory machinery, robotics, and auto parts. That's going to be affected. Toys, games, and sporting equipment, 32 billion. That's over 70% of toys sold in the United States are made in China. 70%. Future and household goods, 20 billion. 60% of all US furniture is imported from China. 60%. Okay, you're not going to have that. You're also going to have textiles and apparel. 35% of all US clothing is from China. So you're telling me, when we look at all of this data of how much goods come into America from China, if boats are not coming in with these goods, what do you think happens to shelves? Where are the goods going to come from? Because you can't just say, hey, we're not going to buy stuff from China. We'll get it from, India. If India doesn't produce the goods, you can't get it from India. You see what I'm saying? So that is going to be a problem. All right. And I hope people can understand that. Oh, I hear that. I agree. I agree. And like there is multiple layers of complexity here. My job here is to tell you what I think is going to happen. This is what I believe is going to happen from all of the data and information that I've collected. And I spend my entire day watching, 100 YouTube videos or reading articles or going through all of this data. That is why I can get up here and talk so freely about it, because I've just spent the time doing all this. All right. The M2 supply is going nuts. Yeah. It says, Boink says global M2 is going nuts without the US cutting rates and entering QE. Well, QE is starting to happen, right? The Fed is starting to buy things like bonds and things like that to level out the market. So QE is already starting. Absolutely. Apple goes to India. Yeah, Renee is absolutely right. In 5 years ago, like 2% of iPhones were made in India. You fast forward to last year, 20% of iPhones were made in India. Fast forward to like 2026, all iPhones are going to be built and made in India to avoid the China situation. It's a big deal, because when you can't have a company like Apple. Think of all of the other companies that build things that go into the iPhone, right? If you don't have those supply chains set up anymore in that country, that's going to be pretty bad for that country. So I think there's a lot of complexity here, and I'm just trying to go through the complexity with you. All the signs are there, Sensei. It has to reset. Dollar is collapsing. It's inevitable. Tony, I think there's a lot of, yeah. I don't think it's going to happen as fast as people think it will. I think it's still going to be another few decades before the US dollar is gone. I personally, I don't think the debt is at a, it's, hold on. Let's see, other one, hold on. This person is downstairs. It is, what is it? Why Hanua? It is why Hanua building. Oh, hold on. Hold on 1 second. All right. Listen, somebody's here to help me get all my lighting set up and my camera set up. So I am going to catch you guys on Tuesday, 3:30 PST. Come back. We'll have more information. We'll have more data. We'll get together. We'll work together. We'll try to figure this all out. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I put a lot of time and effort into some content that's coming out over the next few days. I would love your guys' support. If you guys could watch those videos, like those videos, share those videos, that would mean the world to me. Thank you for helping, bring education to everybody in here. I think we're having a lot of fun. Kate's here, Tony's here, LEX, other Nomad, all of you guys. My heart goes out to you. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making this chat truly special. Have a great day, guys. Aloha. All right. Peace. All right, Luna, we're done.